Operation Rising Lion. Israel versus Iran. The night the Middle East held its breath.
Sirens slice the Tel Aviv night. Half a world away, night vision green washes over Tehran's skyline as distant flashes bloom. Social feeds erupt. Hashtags pound like artillery in the dark. Something big just happened, and every phone on the planet is buzzing. Overnight, Israel hurled more than 100 precision strikes deep inside Iran. Airfields, command bunkers, even research reactors that Western analysts say sit one screwdriver turn from weapons grade. Senior IRGC generals vanished off the grid. Tehran vows a crushing, biblical response. Asian markets plunge before sunrise. Oil prices rocket, and 7 million people in Israel wake to emergency texts telling them to shelter or evacuate. This is the scenario strategists have warned about for decades, and it's suddenly not theoretical.
Context: 7th October 2023. Hamas storms Israel's border. The Gaza war goes incandescent, and Iran watches its most valuable proxy bleed. November 2023. Israel assassinates a top Hamas financier in Beirut. Hezbollah responds with a 9-day rocket drizzle. 2024. All year. Drones over Isfahan, cyber hits on Haifa's port, a mysterious blast that knocks out power in Tehran for 8 hours, both sides testing invisible fences. 14 February 2025. The IAEA reports unexplained uranium enrichment spikes at Fordow. Israel's war cabinet meets without phones. 13 June 2025, 200 local. Operation Rising Lion. 200 F-35s and F-15Is take the long arc across Saudi airspace. Yes, Riyadh gave a silent green light, dropping 330 smart munitions on missile farms, command hubs, and the parking lots where Iran hides its mobile launchers. Dawn. Iran brands the strike a declaration of war and activates contingency plan Sirat 3. Within hours, Israeli schools close, mass gatherings banned, Tel Aviv Pride canceled for the first time ever. But the boulevards stay strangely calm, like a city holding its breath before the second punch. Realist deep dive.
First, the security dilemma on steroids. When Tehran spins thousands of centrifuges, it swears the product fuels hospitals. Jerusalem hears Auschwitz's engines warming up. When Israel buys another squadron of F-35s, it calls them defensive. Iran sees the shadows of hangars at Natanz. Each move is rational in isolation, but together they loop into a deadly feedback spiral. Action, misperception, counteraction, repeat. Second, balance of power math. Israel, 9 million citizens, a direct line to Washington's weapons locker and, though never admitted, between 90 and 200 nuclear warheads on Dolphin-class subs. Iran, 90 million people, strategic depth from the Zagros to the Caspian, swarms of Shahed drones, and a proxy archipelago from Gaza tunnels to the Bab al-Mandab. Overlay great powers. The U.S. shoulders Israeli air defense. China buys 80% of Iran's oil at a sanctions discount. Russia sells attack drones to both and pockets the cash to fund its own wars. Call it three-dimensional chess, where every piece is booby-trapped. Third, rational brutality. In pure realist calculus, the worst-case future outweighs tonight's global outrage. Think Athens crushing Milos, Kennedy blockading Cuba, or Israel taking out Iraq's Osirak reactor in 1981. States gamble violence today to avoid catastrophe tomorrow. Civilian grief is tragic, yes, but leaders weigh it against national survival. An ugly arithmetic older than Thucydides.
Fourth, proxy leverage collapse. For 40 years, Iran's playbook was bleed Israel, don't bleed for Israel. Hamas missiles, Hezbollah rockets, Houthis harassing Red Sea tankers. Tehran could throttle tension without risking regime survival. But by mid-2025, Hamas command tunnels resemble Swiss cheese. Hezbollah is stuck trading barrages across the Litani, while also propping up Assad, and the Houthis have drawn U.S. frigates into the Gulf of Aden. When the pawns falter, the Queen has to move herself, and last night she did.
Fifth, domestic politics, always the hidden accelerant. Netanyahu stares down corruption trials in the most fractured Knesset in a generation. Nothing unites Israelis like existential threat. In Tehran, inflation chomps double digits, water protests boil in Khuzestan, and the supreme leader is rumored frail. Rally round the flag isn't theory, it's survival instinct. Realists call it regime security. Win abroad so you don't crumble at home. Now, the escalation ladder. 4 rungs, each one trickier to descend than the last. Rung 1, symbolic retaliation. Iran lobs a dozen Shahed drones at an uninhabited Negev kibbutz. Israel hits empty IRGC barracks. Both sides claim message delivered. Analysts relax. Oil drops $5. Twitter declares crisis averted until the next alert. Rung 2, proxy surge. Hezbollah opens the northern front, firing 2,000 rockets in 24 hours. Israel answers with deep strikes into the Bekaa Valley. Gulf airlines divert around Lebanese airspace, and Jordan floods the news with reminders it's neutral. The region holds its breath. Insurance underwriters triple Red Sea shipping premiums overnight.
Rung 3. Direct missile swap. Iran's Imad MRBMs target Israeli airbases. Arrow 3 interceptors light the desert sky. Israel responds with Jericho 3 conventional warheads on Iran's radar grid. The U.S. races Aegis destroyers into the Gulf, and suddenly, superpower entanglement becomes a coin flip.
Rung 4. Nuclear Brink. Tehran's parliament votes to withdraw from the NPT, inspectors expelled. Israel cues a highly visible submarine patrol off Bandar Abbas, hinting at the Samson option. Hurt us, the world burns. When two adversaries doubt each other's trigger discipline, first strike temptation spikes. History offers no comforting case study here. So, are we staring at World War III? Probably not. Deterrence still frightens both regimes more than it emboldens them. No leader wants to be the one who blinks first into the atomic abyss. But last night proved a harsher truth. When states fear extinction, ideals bow to necessity. Summits sound nice on cable news, power calculations write tomorrow's headlines. What now? Watch 5 pressure points. 1. Tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of global oil floats there. If IRGC speedboats swarm, brace for $200 crude. 2. U.S. carrier posture. Does the Pentagon surge a second strike group or quietly redeploy drones to Al Udeid? 3. Saudi signaling. Riyadh's silence last night was tacit approval. A public statement changes deterrence math. 4. Cyberfront. Israel's water utilities and Iran's banking apps are both soft underbellies. 5. Protest streets. Tel Aviv cafes versus Tehran's bazaar. Watch where the crowds swell or vanish. Markets will track these threads in real time, but so will the war cabinets.
Zoom out. Realism isn't cynicism, it's clear-eyed storytelling. Nations aren't friends or foes, they're actors chasing security in an anarchic world. Moral outrage, social media activism, diplomatic communiques, all matter. But only inside the iron cage of power ratios. And when rockets fly, the cage slams shut.
If you crave unvarnished analysis over sanitized talking points, Sinister Insights is your channel. Smash like, obliterate subscribe, and ring the bell so the algorithm knows realism still has a pulse. Then tell us below, does preemptive force buy safety or merely postpone disaster? The comments are your battlefield. Keep it sharp, keep it civil. Until the next crisis, stay unsentimental, stay informed, and stay safe.